December 1914, a freezing trench somewhere in Serbia. Soldiers caked in mud, exhausted, out of ammunition. The Austrian Empire has pushed them to the edge of annihilation. Then an old man climbs down into the trench, not a general, not an officer. The king, King Peter I of Serbia, age 70, and he says something absolutely insane. I hereby release you from your military oath. You may return to your homes and families. I will not blame you, but I, your king, will remain here. I will fight and die with those who choose to stay. The soldiers stare at him. This shouldn't work. This is the worst morale speech in military history. He literally just gave them permission to desert. But here's what actually happened. Not a single man left. Welcome back to the Epic and Extraordinary. Today we're breaking down the Battle of Kolubara, where a 70-year-old king and one stubborn general turned a defeated army into the biggest embarrassment the Austrian Empire never saw coming. If you love stories where arrogance meets a coffin, hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about the deadliest retirement plan in history. Chapter 1. The Disaster. August 1914.
1,000 men were assembling for the attack.
In our wood, the front trenches will be taken in the first minutes.
For 3 hours, the German heavy guns. At 7 in the morning, the bombardment.
World War I kicks off. Austria-Hungary decides to punish Serbia for the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. They're sending 450,000 troops, modern artillery, machine guns, the works. Serbia has 250,000 men, mostly peasant conscripts. Their equipment is outdated. Their supply lines are a joke. On paper, this war lasts 3 weeks maximum. The Austrians invade. They take Belgrade in November. The Serbian government evacuates. Soldiers are dying from typhus as much as bullets. By early December, the Serbian High Command is ready to surrender. Almost. One general says no. Chapter 2, The Maverick. Meet Zivojin Misic, age 58, career military, known for being difficult, stubborn, and absolutely brilliant. He's been arguing with the high command for weeks. They want to hold territory, make a stand, die with honor if necessary. Misic looks at the map and sees something different. His soldiers haven't slept in days. They're starving. They have no ammunition reserves. The Austrians are overextended, celebrating in Belgrade, convinced the war's over. And Misic realizes something. The Austrians think they've already won. December 3rd, 1914, the High Command orders Misic to defend his position. He refuses, just flat out refuses a direct order. Instead, he orders a full retreat, pulls his entire army back toward the Kolubara River. His superiors are furious. This looks like cowardice, like surrender. Misic doesn't care. He tells them, "My soldiers need 3 things: food, sleep, ammunition. Give me 5 days and I'll give you a victory." The risk is insane. If he's wrong, he gets executed for insubordination. If the Austrians pursue aggressively during the retreat, his exhausted army gets slaughtered. But Misic is betting on Austrian arrogance. He's betting they'll celebrate instead of chase. He's right. The Austrians do exactly what he predicted. They occupy Belgrade, throw parties, send telegrams back to Vienna declaring total victory. Meanwhile, Misic's army is eating, receiving ammunition from the last functioning supply depot. It's the military equivalent of a coiled spring. Pull back, build tension, then release. Chapter 3, The Warrior King. While Misic handles strategy, there's still a massive problem. Morale is dead. The soldiers think they're losing. They've been retreating for weeks. They've watched their country get carved up. Some units are on the verge of mutiny. This is where King Peter I does something no modern monarch would even consider. He's 70 years old, bad lungs, bad legs. The soldiers cannot believe what they're seeing. Their king in the mud with them, holding a weapon. And then Peter does something even crazier. He actually fires at the Austrians. Think about this for a second. King Peter I is the only reigning monarch in modern history to fire a rifle at enemy forces. Not ceremonial, not staged. He's genuinely engaging in combat at age 70. The effect on morale is amazing. If the king won't abandon them, how can they abandon each other? Suddenly, the retreat doesn't feel like defeat anymore. It feels like preparation. Misic has given them rest. The king has given them purpose. Now they just need the opportunity. Chapter 4. The counterattack. December 3rd to 6th, 1914. Misic's army is ready, rested, fed, rearmed. The Austrians are scattered, overextended. Their supply lines stretch back 60 miles to the border. They're occupying Serbian towns, looting, partying. Classic imperial overconfidence. December 3rd, Misic gives the order. Forward, to the death if necessary. The Serbian army attacks, not a cautious probe, a full-scale offensive. And the Austrians are completely unprepared. Their commanders thought the war was over, units are scattered, some are drunk. The celebratory telegrams they sent to Vienna are still being delivered when the Serbian counterattack hits. The battle lasts 12 days, but the outcome is decided in the first 48 hours. The Serbian soldiers fight like men possessed. They're not fighting for territory anymore. They're fighting because their 70-year-old king stood in the trench beside them. The Austrians try to regroup, bring up reinforcements, establish defensive lines. It doesn't work. The Serbs aren't just advancing, they're sprinting. Misic's strategy is perfect. He's attacking where the Austrians are weakest. When they reinforce one sector, he pivots to another. The Austrians are always reacting, never dictating. By December 15th, the Austrians are in full retreat, not strategic withdrawal, panic. They abandon Belgrade, abandon equipment. Soldiers throw away rifles to run faster. The Serbian army chases them all the way to the Austrian border. In 12 days, they recapture every inch of lost territory. Chapter 5. The cost. The numbers are huge here. Austria-Hungary commits 450,000 troops to the Serbian campaign. They lose 273,000. That's like 60% casualties, dead, wounded, or captured. For context, those are World War I Eastern Front numbers, Verdun-level devastation. Except this is Austria losing to a country 1/10 their size. Serbia loses 132,000 men. Still horrific, but they win. An army that was supposed to be annihilated in 3 weeks just handed the Austrian Empire its worst defeat since Napoleon. Ironically, Austria-Hungary invaded Serbia to avenge Franz Ferdinand. The invasion was supposed to restore Austrian prestige, prove they were still a great power. Instead, Kolubara becomes the moment everyone realizes Austria-Hungary is a paper tiger. Germany has to send troops to bail them out. Russia sees weakness and commits harder to the war. And Austria never recovers its reputation. One stubborn general and one suicidal king destroy the image of an empire. Chapter 6. What nobody tells you. The story gets sanitized in history books. They focus on strategy, troop movements, supply lines. They skip the horrifying details. King Peter's speech in the trench? That wasn't bravery, that was desperation. He released his soldiers from their oath because he knew they were about to mutiny anyway. Some units were already deserting. Men were shooting their own officers. Peter's speech wasn't inspiring, it was a Hail Mary. If you're leaving anyway, at least let me make it sound noble. Except it worked. The soldiers who stayed weren't staying for Serbia or strategy or duty. They stayed because an old man with bad lungs stood in the mud and said, "I'm not running." That's not patriotism. That's shame. And let's be honest, shame is a hell of a motivator. Misic's retreat was a gamble. If the Austrians had pursued during the withdrawal, the Serbian army would have been destroyed. Caught in the open, exhausted, demoralized. Misic bet his entire army that the Austrians were too arrogant to chase. He was right, but he could have been wrong. The counterattack was desperation warfare. Soldiers advancing faster than their supply lines. Units running out of ammunition mid-battle and charging with bayonets. The Austrians didn't lose to superior tactics. They lost to men who had nothing left to lose. Chapter 7, the question. Would modern soldiers do what those Serbian troops did? King Peter's speech wouldn't work today. If a modern leader said, "You can go home, but I'm staying to die," the troops would film it on their phones and leave. But in 1914, shame still worked. Honor still worked. The idea that you don't abandon the old man in the trench, that still worked. Misic's strategy wouldn't work today either. Modern armies have real-time intelligence, satellite reconnaissance, drones. You can't just retreat and hope the enemy gets cocky. But in 1914, you could. And Misic understood something crucial about Austrian psychology. Empires don't respect peasants. The Austrians genuinely believed Serbs were inferior, backwards, incapable of organized resistance. So when the Serbian army retreated, the Austrians saw confirmation of what they already believed. They never considered their retreat might be strategic. That arrogance killed 273,000 Austrian soldiers. Here's the darkest irony. King Peter saved Serbia in 1914, but Serbia didn't survive World War I. By 1918, the country is destroyed. 1/4 of the population dead. The economy is gone. The army is scattered across Greece and Albania. Peter dies in 1921. His kingdom dissolves into Yugoslavia a few years later. So what did Kolubara actually accomplish? It bought time. 3 more years of war, 3 more years of suffering. But maybe that's the point. Peter didn't go to the trench to win a war. He went because he couldn't live with himself if he didn't. Misic didn't retreat to save Serbia. He retreated to save his soldiers. They're not fighting for victory. They're fighting because the alternative is worse. The Battle of Kolubara, one 70-year-old king, one stubborn general, and the complete humiliation of the Austrian Empire. King Peter told his soldiers, "Go home if you want, I won't blame you, but I am staying." Leaders usually hide in bunkers while soldiers die. Does this make King Peter the last true warrior king? Would you stay in the trench if your king gave you permission to leave? Drop your answer in the comments, because honestly, I don't know if I would. But if you think this story was crazy, wait until you hear about the time a Serbian farmer shot down a stealth bomber. Click right here to watch that next. Stay epic and extraordinary.